In this video, we're going to be talking about the best Forex expert advisor. And my guess is if you're watching this video right now, then you're probably wanting to have a long-term, sustainable, profitable Forex expert advisor that's going to work for you for a long time. And in this video, I'm probably going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm going to save you a lot of time and research from blowing your account and trying to experiment like I've had to do. Also, I'm going to show you 4 things that you need to watch out for. Even if you don't decide to use the Titan G27 Expert Advisor, 4 things to look out for and 7 things that must be included in any expert advisor that you're going to plan on using, or else you'll entirely blow your account eventually. All right, like I mentioned in this video, we're gonna be talking about the best Forex expert advisor for MetaTrader 4, which is the Titan G27 Expert Advisor. And I'm gonna break down the details of what you should be looking for inside. So even if you don't decide to use the Titan G27 Expert Advisor, you'll have a good criteria of what to look for. Now, let me know in the comments below if you're currently using an expert advisor, and if you are and you found a really good one, then let me know what that is in the comments below. Now, before we get into the 4 things that you must watch out for in an expert advisor, and the 7 key components that must be in an expert advisor, I want to tell you a quick backstory about how I came to find out this information. I got into Forex trading and I got really excited about the idea of potentially making money trading and clicking buttons. And so, as you know, it's not simple. And so I started reading all these different books like Market Wizards and all these different books on Forex that you're probably familiar with. And what I found out is pretty much every book that I read, it seemed to say the same thing. It says that you need to trade unemotionally. You need to trade like a robot. And so I had this aha moment where I was like, oh, well, we should probably just maybe program a robot to trade effectively. And there's got to be something good on the market. Some expert advisor, some Forex robot that's actually robust and is actually good. And the sad reality is 99.5% of the robots on the market are complete crap, like you probably noticed. And I went through a bunch of trial and error and I blew a lot of my accounts. And so it actually wasn't until I met a real professional Forex bank trader that I really learned the ins and the outs of how to trade effectively. And he had actually programmed an expert advisor that we partnered with him on called the Titan G27 software. And I'm gonna go through these 4 warnings that you must look out for in these 7 key components to any expert advisor, so that way you can save time and money when looking for an expert advisor. And simultaneously, I'm gonna be showing you guys the Titan G27 Expert Advisor because it doesn't have these 4 things that I'm gonna tell you to watch out for, and it does have these 7 things that you need to look for, okay? So let's go ahead and let's get into it. So the 4 things that you must watch out for when choosing a Forex expert advisor. Number 1 is watch out for smooth equity curves. You've probably seen these being advertised on the internet. You really need to watch out for a smooth equity curve, something that's just climbing, climbing, climbing day after day after day. And the reason that you need to be aware of this is because most of these smooth looking equity curves use poor money management systems. They'll use systems like Martingale or cost averaging or gridding systems. And what will eventually happen is these smooth equity curves will eventually end up like this, blowing the entire account. And I've seen this happen time and time again, where it's this smooth equity curve growing, 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 and boom, eventually it blows its account. And now for the time that it is working, you may be thinking, this is the greatest thing ever, I'm making money every single day, until boom, one day you blow your entire account. And this is disastrous, obviously. The second thing that you must look out for is the equity curve below the balance curve. So on my FX book, the yellow curve is the equity curve and the red curve is the balance curve. So anytime this yellow curve is below the red curve, this is something to watch out for. As you can see here, there's plenty of times where the equity curve is actually below the balance curve, and it's almost never above the balance curve. So you're almost always in floating drawdown and probably never in floating profit. And this is a really bad idea because this is a sign of a Martingale or cost averaging system that will eventually blow your account. So what you really want it to look for is you want it to look differently like this. You want it to look where the yellow line is above the red line. And this happens to be an example of a G27 curve where the equity curve is above the balance curve. So a lot of the time we're in floating profit, as you can see. And what this really means is that the system is doing a good job of riding and trailing trends and not using poor money management like the Martingale or hedging types of strategies. Okay, so the next thing that you must look out for is Martingale or cost averaging or gridding or hedging type of strategies. As I've shown you just earlier in this video, a couple of examples where the equity curve is below or we have this really smooth equity curve. Those are examples of Martingale or cost averaging or gridding systems. What is Martingale? Martingale is simply where you can continue to stack bigger positions as you continue to lose in hopes that the market's going to reverse and actually win that extra trade. The big problem with this is that it will work for a while and it will satisfy your psychology, but in the long run, you're bound to blow your account. It's almost an absolute guarantee. You probably won't find any good Martingale systems on the market that have been running for more than 2 or 3 years. So be very aware of this. And the reason why it's so detrimental is because the fact that you're literally taking on unlimited risk to just make a small limited reward. And that's the big problem. Another thing that you need to watch out for, number 4 thing that you need to watch out for, is watch out with systems with really high win rates, okay? Watch out for a system that has a 75, 85, 90% win rate. And this is really dangerous because the chances are if it does have that high percentage of a win rate, then it has a really, really poor risk to reward ratio where the losing trades are more than likely bigger than the winning trades. And I'll get into this in just a second on why that's a bad idea. So now that we've covered the 4 things that you must watch out for that are giant red flags when choosing an expert advisor, which Titan G27 has none of them, let's get into 7 things that you should actually look for, the 7 key components to a robust expert advisor. Number 1 is that the wins should be greater than the losses. And this is really, really important that the wins are bigger than the losses. That means if your average winning trade, say for example, is $15, then you want your average losing trade, for example, to be $12, right? And this is just a hypothetical example. But the problem here is that the fact is most retail traders can actually have a high winning percentage. If you look at this graph right here, you can see the euro US dollar and you can see the winning versus losing percentage. And in this example, actually, retail traders are able to predict winning trades 61% of the time on euro US dollar, which you may be thinking, well, how can retail traders, 95% of retail traders end up blowing their account or losing money if they can win trades 61% of the time? And the answer is they have poor risk to reward ratios. And as you can see here in this graph right here, the average losing trade is significantly bigger than the average winning trade. And that's why even if you have a high win rate system, over the long term and you let the law of large numbers play out, you're likely not going to be profitable. The next thing that you want to look for, and number 2 key component, is looking for backtest robustness. You need to backtest your system. It's absolutely essential because then how do you have any confidence moving forward if you're not able to backtest successfully? So this is an example of Titan G27 backtest. You can see here some important information here. Like you can see the stagnation period, which in this period, this was a backtest from January of this was from September of 2007 till basically June of 2020. And you can see how the backtester performed month over month after month. Now the key here is that you want to be able to survive 10 or 15 years in a backtest because you want to see how it performs through different market periods, through ranging markets, through trending markets, through up markets, through down markets. You want to see how it actually performs. And if you're using an expert advisor that you haven't backtest, then I think you're absolutely crazy. It needs to be able to backtest 5, 10, 15 years, or the likelihood of it blowing in the future is very, very high. Again, I'll take a look at the results here inside of, this is results for Titan G27 software. You can see the average win here, right, is $5.55, where the average loss is only $5.10. And this is really important because we have a higher winning trade than we do have losing trade, which is really, really key in this scenario. Even though it's only a slight difference, all you need in this market is a slight edge and you can become really, really profitable over time. Also, you can see the winning percentage only 58%. It's not 75, 85, 90%. It's just a slight edge, and this allows for a system to be robust and to succeed over the long term, okay? So number 2 is the backtest robustness. Can you actually run a backtest over a long period of time? If you can't, then I don't know what you're doing. The next thing that you need to look for is actual forward testing results. The idea here is, again, that I'll pull this up for you guys so you can actually see what the forward test looks like for Titan G27. This is on a fixed lot size, meaning that this is an account that is non-compounding. This is an account that simply uses the same fixed lot size. Obviously, with Titan G27, you can compound it if you want. Most of our users do, but you can see the monthly profit is about the same as the monthly drawdown, which is incredible. And you're not really going to see this in most systems on the market, okay? You can see that we already have about 6 months worth of data that started from February 2nd, 2020, and today is August 4th, 2020. So we have over 6 months worth of data. We can see, again, we can see the average winning trade is $50 and the average losing trade is $47 in this example so we can see the winning trades bigger than the losing trades, and we can see again here the winning percentage is about 55% or so if you average out the two. So this is really, really good. And you can see another key metric here, the expectancy. So what are you expecting to earn on each trade? In this case, each trade on average is expected to earn 40 pips or $7.09. Okay, another thing you can see is the average trade length's under 21 hours. I like having under 1 day because this means that you're not going to be incurring a lot of swap fees. Narrow in on any time on this equity curve, you'll see the majority of the time the yellow equity curve is above the balance curve, which we know is a good thing because we know that it's following trends good and it's getting out of losing trades quickly. The next thing that you want to look for is a system that actually follows trends. So many retail traders end up screwing up because they're trying to catch the tops and the bottoms of markets. And this is a massive mistake versus trading with the trend. You probably heard the trend is your friend, but this is how the retailers lose money. The retailers do really well in like a ranging market when the market's just going sideways, but when these big trends happen, they think that, oh, the trend's ending, I'm gonna try to sell, or oh, the trend's ending, I'm gonna try and buy. And they try to predict the tops and the bottoms of the market, and this is really a bad idea because you don't know how long the trend can go on. So while the retail or the herd will win in a ranging market, the smart money, the banks, they do really, really well in a long trending market. As you can see here in this diagram here, you can see all these red ranging markets. This is where the herd is making money here, but the smart money or the brokers or the banks, they're actually losing money, just a small bit of money in these ranging markets. When the market goes in a trend, then this is when the smart money really does well, and this is where most retail traders actually end up blowing their accounts. So you want a trading system that actually trades with the trend, not against the trend. The next thing is that you want a system that's very well diversified across different currency pairs. If you're just trading one currency pair, a few currency pairs, that can be dangerous because what happens if this currency pair does something totally irregular? With the Titan G27 system, you can see here in the MyFX book, you can see that it trades a whole bunch of different pairs. It actually trades, I think, 29 or 30 different pairs. So that way you can have a good diversification. So even if one pair or two pairs or three pairs aren't doing well, then you have other pairs that will be able to trade effectively that'll pick up for the losing pairs. And that way you can diversify your risk. Just like you should diversify your risk between Forex and the stock market and with real estate and with different things inside of your portfolio to make up your net worth, you should also diversify in your trading system across different pairs. One other thing that your system should look for is you should look for something that trades Contra Crowd or against the herd. As you know, 95% of the herd or 95% of retail traders eventually lose money. And you can see this really simply by going to myfxbook.com/community/outlook. And in here, you can actually see what the crowd's actually thinking. So for example, in this example, most people are thinking that the euro US dollar is short. So this is what the herd is thinking. They're thinking that the market is going to reverse and it's going to go downwards. Now, if you want to just have a complete edge over the market, you can just simply take the opposite. If you know that 95% of retail traders are losing money most of the time, if you just take the opposite trade, a lot of the times you're going to have a better edge than any Forex indicator that's out there. So one thing that you want your system to do is trade against the herd or Contra Crowd. The last thing that you want to look for is your equity curve above your balance curve. Why is this important? That means that you're catching trends, that you're getting out of losing trades quickly, and so you're not staying in drawdown, and you're letting the trends ride. And so this yellow line is above the red line, as you can see here, as well as you can see in this MyFX book example. You can see the yellow curve is a lot of the times above the red curve. Okay, so that's 4 things that you need to watch out for in an expert advisor. That's 7 key components that make up a successful expert advisor. And with Titan G27, we want to let you just try it out. So you go over to our website. It's www.bluedgefinancial.com, and you can try it out for 30 days. You can set it up on a live account, set it up on a demo account, so that way you don't have to risk any of your own money if you don't want to. And you can try it out. If you're not completely stoked, if you don't think this is the best Forex expert advisor that's on the market, hands down, then just let us know within 30 days. We'll give you all of your money back, so you have absolutely nothing to risk here and everything to gain by getting started. Okay, so going over to www.bluedgefinancial.com and you can try this expert advisor. We have live chat supports working 24/7 on our site so that we can ask them any questions that you may have. And also, if you like this video, give us a comment on what your big breakthrough was and like this video, and also subscribe and consider watching some of the other videos on our channel that will help you get a true edge in the market.